Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll show you how to create a simple Python automation script that finds all large files inside a folder and its subfolders. This is a useful project if you want to free up disk space or quickly identify files that are taking up the most storage. First, we'll import the modules we need. We'll use the OS module to work with directories and files. It allows us to walk through every folder automatically. And now, we'll store large file size limit in file size limit variable. Now comes the main part of the program, where the actual scanning takes place. To search through every folder on the drive, we use the os.walk function. os.walk is a built-in Python function that recursively traverses a directory. In other words, it starts from the folder we specify, scans all of the files inside it, then automatically moves into each subfolder and repeats the same process until every folder has been visited. In our case, we pass C:\/ as the starting directory. This tells Python to begin scanning from the root of the C drive and continue through every accessible folder and subfolder. Next, we loop through every file inside the current folder using a for loop. The file names list contains the names of all the files in that folder, and by iterating over it, we can process each file one at a time. os.walk loops through every folder, ensuring all files on the drive are checked. Now, we need to determine the size of each file. To do that, we use the os.path.getSize function. This function returns the size of a file, allowing us to compare it against the size limit we've specified. However, getSize cannot work with just the file name. It needs the file's complete path so that Python knows exactly where the file is located. It's important to note that the return value is in bytes, which is the standard unit that computers use to measure file sizes. Since bytes are very small and not easy to interpret for large files, we'll convert this value into gigabytes in the next step, making it much easier to read and compare. The value returned by os.path.getSize is measured in bytes. While bytes are accurate, they're not very convenient when we're working with large files because the numbers can become extremely large and difficult to understand at a glance. For example, instead of seeing a file size like 2,147,483,648 bytes, it's much easier to read it as 2 gigabytes. To make the output more user-friendly, we convert the file size from bytes into gigabytes. We do this by dividing the file size by 1024 3 times. This is because C9. Finally, we compare the file size with the limit we defined at the beginning of the script. We use an if statement to check whether the file size, stored in the size in GBs variable, is greater than or equal to our file size limit. This condition ensures that only files meeting or exceeding our specified size are reported. If the condition is true, we use the print function to display the file's full path along with a message indicating that it has been flagged as a large file. Printing the full file path is important because it tells us the exact location of the file on the computer. Instead of seeing only the file name, we know precisely which folder it belongs to, making it much easier to find or manage later. Once the script is executed, Python begins scanning every accessible folder and subfolder on the C drive. As it moves through the directory structure, it checks the size of every file one by one and compares it with the size limit we've set. Whenever Python encounters a file that is larger than or equal to the specified limit, it immediately prints that file's location in the terminal. If no files meet the condition, the script simply finishes without displaying any results. Now finally test our script if it works correctly. Oh yes, it is working. And that's it. With just a few lines of Python, you've created a practical file management tool that can help you locate large files and free up disk space. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments which Python automation project you'd like to see next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.